Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new tutorial. In this we will see how to create this awesome falling line motion background without using any plugins. Once you learn the concept, you can use the same for creating similar backgrounds like this. Let's get started. Let's start with a new composition. I'm just going to call it as render. Keep it 920 by 1080 and duration can be 10 seconds. Let's create a new solid. We'll call it as a gradient wall. Press OK. Selecting the layer, let's add a 4-color gradient. Over here, we have to choose 3 colors. You can choose any 3 colors that you want. I'm just going to choose red. Keep it somewhere over here. Take the pink up. I want to give it a violet shade like this. Same with this one. Give it a violet shade. Keep it exactly below this over here. Finally, for the green, let's keep it over here. I'm just going to make this as blue. Perfect. Our gradient wall is ready. Now we have to divide this into 2 parts, as our lines are going to fall vertically over here and then going to spread on the floor. To add the proper division, let's add 2 gradient ramps. Let's quickly add another solid. I'm just going to call it as ramp up. Press OK. Let's add the gradient ramp on this. Firstly, let's swap the colors. Let's reduce the transparency a bit. Press T. We'll make it around 80 or 90. In order to blend this perfectly with our background, let's go to the mode and make this as multiply. Now let's decrease our end of ramp. Let's keep it something like 550. Then finally, we just need to add a mask over here. For that, ensure that the layer is selected. Select our rectangle tool. Zooming out. Let's create a mask like this. You don't need to be very precise, just ensure that it is around the middle. Now simply let's take a copy of this by pressing Ctrl D. Press R and let's rotate this by 180 degrees. Let's place this over here. Just ensure that there is no gap between the 2 layers. Let's place this up. Perfect. With this we have got awesome gradient ramp. We'll call the bottom layer as ramp down. I'll just tilt it up and mention it as down. This takes care of our ramps. Now let's start creating the lines in the background. We need a new solid layer. I'll simply call it as top. Everything else can remain the same. Now let's start adding effects on it one by one. We'll start with particle world. Let's search for the same. CC particle world. You don't really need to work with all this. So you can simply go to grid and guides and turn all these off. This way you will get a clean background. So if I go ahead, it will look something like this. Now let's start making some changes. Firstly, you can increase the birth rate to 3 or 4. For now, I'm just keeping it as 3. For longevity, we want it to shower for 5 seconds. So I'm just going to increase it from 1 to 5 seconds. Now let's open our producer. In this, we need to play around with our radius. Before that, let's go a little ahead so that we can see the shower. Increase this all the way to 0.8. Increase it like this. Again, same with Y. Increase it all the way to around 800. Perfect. Now inside of physics, you have to firstly ensure that the gravity is made 0. Once you make it at 0, you'll get a pattern like this. Let's decrease the velocity and keep it only 0.3. That way you'll get a beautiful animation like this. Everything else can remain the same. Let's close this. Let's close the producer as well. Now let's play around with the particle. Firstly, instead of line, we want to keep it as lens convex. Let's keep it like this. That way you will get white bubbles on your screen. We'll need to make this as small as possible. For that, let's reduce this all the way down to 0.05. I'm going to make it small like this. We also need to reduce this size. So again, reduce it. We'll keep it as low as 0.01. Perfect. Now finally, come to physics, and instead of animation, we'll keep it as direction axis. That way all our circles will move from left to the right. Now selecting the layer, press R, and we simply need to rotate it to 90 degrees. This way, our animation will be vertical. And keeping it at 90 degrees. So it will look something like this. Let's press on S and reduce the size. We'll keep it something like 60 or 65. We have to shift it up such that it ends on this black line. This way you will get an animation like this. I'm going to press Ctrl A and press U. That way you will minimize all the layers. Let's go to the top and minimize this as well. Now let's start adding the remaining effects. Firstly, selecting the layer, we have to add the echo. Keep the echo time as -0.01. And let's increase the copies all the way to around 50. And finally, let's reduce the decay to around 0.95. This will give you a pattern like this. Awesome. Now let's add the Gaussian blur. Let's increase this to around 10. Also, we only need to keep it at horizontal. Let's click on horizontal. Perfect. Now to replicate the same pattern on left and the right, we'll add the reptile. Let's search for reptile. Over here in expand down, let's increase this all the way till it reaches on the left side. Perfect. On the expand up, let's increase this till the end. Perfect. Now in case you want to control this color or you want to change it, you can also add the fill effect. For now, I'm just going to keep it as white. Lastly, in order to blend it with the background, simply come over here in our blending modes and let's keep it as classic color dodge. Now to create a similar 3D pattern on the bottom, let's duplicate this layer. I'm going to call this as bottom. This is going to be super simple. Let's just firstly make this layer as 3D. Let's open this up. In the transform properties, we just have to make few changes. Let's drag this down exactly where our top ends. Firstly, let's change the X rotation and keep it as -90 degrees. That way we'll get the 3D look. Next, as we no longer see it, we just have to drag this up. Further in the position, let's reduce the y-axis. Let's keep it like this over here. Now we just need to make change in the scale. For that, let's remove the lock. For the x-axis, let's reduce it so that it fits perfectly over here. Let's reduce this all the way. Let's reduce the y. We'll keep it around 40. Let's increase this further. Maybe till here. Perfect. Lastly, for the z, let's reduce it. We'll keep it around -120. If you see right now, the lines are going towards the middle. We don't really want that. We want it to happen the opposite. For that, we simply need to change the orientation. So coming to orientation, let's make this 180 degrees. That way, this animation will flip. If I click elsewhere, perfect. See, we have got a beautiful animation like this. Now, using this as a background, you can add any text that you want. Now, as you have understood this concept, you can create many more designs like this. So thank you guys for watching the tutorial. If you loved it, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.